everybody. I want to talk about the food chain and why it's important to maintain your place at the top of the pyramid. I'm going to give you a bit of advice, and I know a lot of parents are going to say, yeah, I've done that, or I understand, or that's something I wish I would have done different. And I'm going to I'm just going to read what I wrote. The one choice I wish I would have made different was when I was continually putting my children above myself. I'm not saying we shouldn't put the needs of our children and make them important, but our needs should come first. I had always purchased used cars from about $1,500 to $3,000 when you could get a beater with a heater. I was fine with that. I loved my older cars. At one point I had a Toyota Tercel and a Ford Escort and all that fun stuff from the 90s. I always had two cars, so when my oldest daughter needed an extra vehicle to get around in, she would use my second car. And then there was one time I needed that second car back because the first car, the engine was just no good anymore. So at the age of 18, 19, my daughter estranged, and then she eventually came back, and she needed a vehicle. And I had given her another vehicle to use, and I gave it to her. I signed it over to her, but that one was on its last legs, so she said, Mom, I have two jobs and I can make payments, and can I get a newer car? And I said, okay, as long as you can afford the payments. And I ended up being the main signer on a $14,000 car. That was a sticker shock for me, because here I am spending no more, okay, $5,000 on a car, whatever. And then my daughter, and she could pay for it. She could afford it. She had two jobs. It was no big deal. I trusted her. It's just the way it was. So I agreed. I became the signer. And then she eventually decided to estrange again. She took that vehicle, moved. I had no idea where she was. And she was gone for I guess a year or two, etc. And throughout the 2 years she was gone, I get notifications from the bank saying she wants to defer a payment. And I said, what the heck are we going to do? Okay. So I would ask her, are you going to make the payment? I'll sign this. And I signed. Because as the main signer, you have to agree. 5 times, 6 times she deferred the payments. And when you defer payments, all of those payments are due at the end of the loan. So if your payment is $500 a month and you deferred 6 payments, those 6 payments, $3,000 plus interest, due at the end of the loan. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. That's the way it is. So I did that. Lo and behold, she had estranged for 2 years. I was leaving the apartment I was living in to move in with my now husband. And my neighbor messaged me and she said, there's a vehicle out front and there's a package by your front door. And it was that car. My daughter dumped that vehicle off by my front door and left all the keys and paperwork in an envelope, left it by my front apartment door. Thank God it was inside the building. And I have text messages that said, this vehicle is now your problem. You can afford it. I can't. And left, and she wouldn't respond. So here the vehicle has a $9,000 balance with an additional 100,000 miles on it. Not only that, the check engine light was on, so I thought maybe it's just an O2 sensor. Oh no. On top of that, I took it to a mechanic and the engine was shot, and I had to have a couple of things replaced, which was, the total for that was an additional $1,200. So anyways, all I'm going to say to parents, and that was my experience, but you should never be at the bottom of the pyramid when it comes to needs, wants, desires, etc. Your needs should come first. How you get a $1,500 car or $3,000 car and your son or daughter gets a $15,000 car, even if they can afford it, they have to start small. And I'd say never, ever, ever just hand them anything. They should work for it and pay for it. That's all there is to it. I'm trying to help parents. I know that we want to sacrifice for our kids, and your parents may pass away and leave you some money, and I can give some to my kids and this and that. I just want to say, just be very, very careful. Um, just let's just think twice before when it comes to finances. Even if they're still at home and have jobs, they should save their money, and then if they want a $15,000 car, they should save up their money and pay for it. Just got to be really careful. Don't co-sign. You don't have to. It's not necessary. The only person you should be co-signing for is your spouse, or for just you. So anyways, that's all I've got. I hope this helps, and I will be back.